Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Assalamualaikum and a very good day, everyone. So I am Tengku Deya as a representative of Sekolah Menengah Sains Tengku FARIS PETRA, which also is the head of government. We'll discuss and give out our thoughts on how we solve bits and bobs of problems that CASTA is currently facing. So first thing first, I'm going to give a quick introduction of CASTA for those who aren't really familiar, in which is a country of 1.5 billion civilians, and this island country has an area of 3.28 million kilometers. So a little bit of introduction of that windy country. Enough with that. Now I will jump into our main discussion. So the most worrying issue here is, of course, the IMPF 31. This disease is somewhat similar to the COVID-19, which is easy to transmit to others without any precautionary measures. So when the virus lands on our body, it will easily target the respiratory tract. In order to stop this whole issue, we as a government decided to give a final decision to practice some steps to the custodians should take in order to take good care of the welfare of the country and its own citizens. So, for instance, wearing a mask wherever they go is a must, and whoever disobeys will be considered as a mandatory crime. Also, social distancing will be fully practiced for at least 2 meters or 6 feet apart from one another. With that, the standard operating procedures will be created in all public places and transportation. The government would provide a website in which all of the citizens could have they're accessing to. So this website functions as the registration of people every time they enter any public places. They would have to fill their name and temperature so that when the certain public places is tested positive, the government can trace for those who have been in that particular place. The link to this website will be pasted in front of every public places, and any premises who failed of doing this order will be considered as a mandatory crime. So next, any symptoms of diseases like coughing, high fever, and flu must be reported so that the Ministry of Health could do the swab test for one. For those who aren't really familiar with the swab test, this involves inserting 6 inches of Q-tip for 15 seconds inside one's nose. So those who are tested positive will be quarantined in certain hospitals so that they are isolated from those who aren't infected. So these people will not allowed to go to any kind of public places for 20 days. After the period of time, the last swab test will also be done to make sure that they are fully recovered from this disease. The government also decided to do the movement control order for the whole country for 4 weeks, in which the citizens of Castra will not allowed to go for any kind of unnecessary purposes. Going out also will be limited for each of a family. This action is going to decrease the quantity of citizens that is on the road or outside. Although this action will slowly affect the economy of our country, it is such a necessary order that needs to be followed by everyone, as the health of our country are already in a critical level. The education institutions also will be closed all over the country so that there will be no gathering at all. However, the online classes will be held and is a must for every student and in every school, as we need to continue the learning process even in this kind of situation. Next one is the education. All shopping malls opening hours must be limited from 1 a.m. until 9 p.m. This kind of action will allow the in-charge people to clean and sanitize the whole mall before and after the opening hours of those shopping malls. In addition, any kind of sports activities or competition, including Olympic SEA Games, World Cups, and Commonwealth, must be stopped or cancelled for a while in order to stop this disease from spreading to another country. Other than that, the country borders will be closed during the MCO. This will stop tourists from outside of Castra to enter our country. The citizens who want to travel outside for unavoidable purposes will only be check their health background first. So until they are confirmed that their health is in the right state, they will not be given the permit of travel yet. Several new laws has been enforced to keep this disease under control for enormous problem from becoming worse and maintain the safety of our citizens. On to the second issue that needs to be solved immediately is the overpopulation in Castra. As the population of 1. Civilians, as mentioned before, may consider it as a big issue for us. The world's population is increasing mainly due to agriculture cultural productivity. A few steps could be taken to control the birth of the civilians in Castor. For instance, we would create a delayed marriage law in which one only can get married once they reach. This act will not affect the fertility of one on both genders. By this way, the range of age of a person can get pregnant is limited and controlled. So secondly, the government would provide all kinds of medical supplies and facilities in the terms of preventing pregnancy of one. For example, a hospital would offer condom, contraceptive pills, ligation, vasectomy, and many more in the lowest range of price. By this way, the civilians would not be burdened with the financial problem. The main reason why those medical supplies cannot be free is because it could worsen our economy, which also one of the biggest problem for Castor. Next, for legislative actions, we would create a law in which one is forbidden to have more than 2 kids in their lifetime. Even though it may sound possessive of one country to have such law and order, this kind of issue really needs a maximum level of action, and only this way could lower the increase of citizens. We would also export the jobless citizens that has a good background of health and are capable to be working outside the country to the countries who offers a profitable income for them. This action will not be forced in any kind of ways, both physically or mentally. Henceforth, they are free to make their decision for themselves, and we unofficially could decrease the rate of overpopulation and financial problem of our country. Next, we would spread the awareness towards the citizens and try to make them realize on how serious the overpopulation issue may affect our country. In hope they would listen and try to follow our order for their own good. This is because the failure of overcoming the overpopulation crisis could worsen and increase the rate of people infected by IMPF 31 disease. On to the next problem, economic crisis. Castor is also one of the countries who rarely involve any diplomatic relations with big countries. This flaw made it harder for them to ask for a hand in terms of finance. So the actions could be taken is also made limited. For instance, we can try to start exporting products and raw materials that Castor offers, especially in fishery, since it is a country that's surrounded by sea. With the addition of taxes and other things, Castor could gain some extra incomes. In addition, each sector, for example, its employees to take turns if you want. Fourth, will we improve exports to increase the global market shares. Next, the influx of illegal immigrants. This issue is quite hard to be cleared because it has caused many other huge problems for Castor, including human trafficking, rise of traditionalism, and drug war. The big borders of a country have made the Castor a country that is easy to invade and smuggle illegal immigrants. This causes the security of a country is disturbed. The safety of the country, when the safety of the country is disturbed, this is because their intention, criminal records, and health background were not investigated first before they came here. So we decided to do the local community awareness. The community awareness is where we give a talk for the citizens, especially for the employers and big companies, on how bad it may cost and affect the country if they all hire workers from outside our country. Other than that, we would do the negotiations with the involved country, for example, with their deputy Ministry of Foreign Affairs, So to make sure that they take responsibility towards their own citizens. Then the employer who hires foreign workers also committed any who committed any criminal action also should be fined, so that the employer could remind and warn the foreign workers to commit any criminal action will be punished. Heavier and punishment also will be given to the employers who hire the foreign workers who do not have the permit into the country. This is because this issue could decrease the rate of jobs offered to the citizen in the custom. It is also wouldn't increase the rate of our country's economy since they don't have to pay tax as fixed citizens. Leading to the next problem, which is human trafficking. The less border control, the more illegal entry into the cluster countries. Human trafficking is on the rise. The increases and unrest among cluster could, including the smuggling of dangerous weapons, rampant drugs also caused social problems among the local community. So we would offer various fixed jobs in any kind of courses towards the immigrants. This will allow them to find other jobs rather than the prostitution, selling illegal drugs or weapons. Since it could ruin the morality in the cluster citizens, in which could lead to another big problem. However, we will make sure that this action will not decrease the rate of jobs offered to the native citizens. Next, we would minimize the construction of nightclubs, especially in urban areas. Otherwise, fine will be doubled to the illegal involved country, including drug sellers, illegal arms sales, and prostitution of men. This is because by the government observation, the nightclubs are where the prostitution and illegal selling occur. We would also sue any agents or employer that involved in human trafficking. Not only suing, we will also jail them up for a certain period of time. So leading to the sixth problem, which is the rise of traditionalism. So the influx of foreigners brought various types of conventional medicines to the coastal population. The coastal population is increasing adopting to the conventional medicine among the citizens. So with the influx such of medicine, the country's financial economy was affected by the lack of demand for medicines. So innovation in medicines will also be affected, since that we would, through selling this kind of medicine at the expensive price, would financially benefit them in an easy way. This is because in their country, the traditional medicines are selling cheap and the quantity of medicines are low. We now are beating a zoology epidemic, so we as a responsibility government want to advise you to take the medicine. The next issue is drug war. The citizens use illicit ways to fulfill their needs due to the overpopulation issues in Costa. The drug dealer that the initiative to take drugs. The cartel network that exists in the country is also a problem of the country's socio-economic collapse. So first and foremost, dealers. How to deal with them? The government should make a raid on the hotspot of the drug dealers and arrest them. This way, the drug prices can be reduced. Next, we can have a conversation with the family members or friends. This is an opportunity to learn more about the different types of drugs and their impacts. They also can get the opportunity to talk through potential risks associated with the drug use and ways to reduce harmful drugs. One of the ways we can overcome is also by improving the military control of our country. How does our country's military plays an important role of overcoming this situation? The military can make a roadblock petrol, or whatsoever related to its search for drug dealers or drug dealers. Last but not least, our government and even ourselves too should give an exposure to the peril of drugs. As we all know, peril is a cause of risks as for drugs. We should have focus to the drug dealers, whereas the drug dealers would be the best way to reduce the peril of drugs. The last one is urbanization. This issue for now is really constant as a major issue that needs to be solved, just because it isn't really giving big impacts for our country. Looking forward to the other mentioned issues of right now are far more important than the critical situation. The late president's attention to rural areas in terms of finance and economic growth is less than urban areas. So this causes the community in these two areas to not be in the same direction and can increase the rate of dissatisfaction between them. So the split among these local will further sharpen the economic status of this cluster country. After the tsunami hitting us, we realized that there were a lot of need for a society that is still insufficient. For example, the supply of vaccines. This is a mistake for a previous government. So we represent a previous government wanting to apologize for what has happened to the people of Castor. So ways to overcome. Firstly, we will make a better rural urban linkages in our country. For example, we will construct a new and futuristic road to connect these two areas. Other than that, medical supplies in rural also important. Before this, we can see that there were a lot of people that injured caused by the tsunami, and need for a society that is still insufficient, for example, to supply of medicines. So what we'll do to this government is also that we will build a modern hospital that provides quality medicines. The government liaises with foreign governments to help ministers to collaborate so that we have the best quality medicines for the well-being of the people of Castor. Lastly, a better local governance in rural areas also important, and we will provide it to all of you. We hope that with a strong administrator, the lives of the people will be more prosperous with the help of these leaders. But we must remember that we must control development in rural areas well for the sake of ecological well-being. So various measures will be taken by the government as an example of replanting trees that have been cut down using the technology that emphasize the environmental cleanliness. So I think that's all for me. Thank you.
Okay, Bismillah, Assalamualaikum, and a very good morning. I bid to everyone. I am Dynie Batrisyia, representative from Sekolah Menengah Sains Tengku FARIS PETRA, and as the president of Castor. In the absence of info, we tend to lead to the worst scenario. So we thought this session would help you all to achieve clarity on what is known versus what is speculation or even exaggeration. So let's just proceed to the Q&A session. You might ask the question now. Are the vaccine for IMPF will be given free if you succeed in finding the cure? I think yes. We will we will give the vaccine IFPF for free, but it will be given according to stages to their involvement in the matter of saving the country, as the cancer is still in the disarray state. So I think. Okay. Can you elaborate on your delayed marriage policy? Wait. Okay, so for instance, like say okay, for instance, we will create a delayed marriage law in which one can be married once they reach age 28. This act will not only affect the fertility of one or both genders. By this way, the range of age of a person can get pregnant is limited and controlled. So if we delay the marriage, their fertility will not affect. And the range of marriage will be limited. Okay, how did minimize construction of nightclubs will help to reduce the human trafficking? Okay, as you can see, nightclubs are full of with outsiders, especially at the rural areas, because there were no PETRA at all. So minimizing the construction of nightclubs, it will help to reduce the illegal outsiders, and we also can catch the illegal employers. If we are lucky enough, we will find the weapons and drugs in the nightclubs. So proceed to the next question. So any more questions? More. Okay, as for the last question, I think I will end this Q&A session here. Thank you so much for watching and supporting us until the end of the broadcast. I wish you all the best and take care for your own health. I hope we will meet again soon. Thank you once again and bye for now. Thank you.